The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Giving a voice to the voiceless, pulling stories out of the shadows and putting them under the spotlight, making sure that each person is valued and cared for. This is Humanity First with Peter Evers, presented by Bamsi.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Humanity First. My name is Peter Evers, and I have the privilege of being the host of this program. I have special privilege today because we are going to have two incredibly important guests. We're going to have Easton Saunders, who is a person served at Bamsi, who's going to tell a story. And that story is about courage. It's about overcoming obstacles. And it's also about developing relationships. Much of what we do in this world is paying things forward. And Easton is such a great example of that in terms of what he's done in his life. And he's been helped by the amazing Bamsi staff over the years. And we're having Jason Fernandes come in, who is one of our staff who works directly with Easton. And I think you're going to get a flavor of the chemistry of the relationship between our amazing direct service professionals and its direct professionals week this week. So a big shout out to all of our folks who do this work. And the relationship between the two of them is something to behold. And you're going to experience that as we talk about what it's like to live with a disability, what it's like to overcome that disability and function in the community and society. And all as important, what it's like to advocate for the rights of people with disabilities when you have a disability, because Easton is an amazing example of that. So we'll be right back to talk to these two incredible people.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm an essential worker here at Bamsi, and I'm a nurse. Nurses are essential here at Bamsi because as nurses, we really have the opportunity to make an impact. We have very small ratios, so we have the opportunity to really learn everything about the person served and be able to give the best care. It really serves such a great purpose for me as being a nurse and really why I came into nursing. Learn more about nursing opportunities at bamsijobs.org.
Giving a voice to the voiceless, pulling stories out of the shadows and putting them under the spotlight, making sure that each person is valued and cared for. This is Humanity First with Peter Evers, presented by Bamsi.
Welcome back, everybody, to Humanity First. And as I promised, we have a wonderful next 15 to 18 minutes because we have with us Easton Saunders. And hi, Easton, how are you?
How are you today, Peter?
I'm very well, and you have agreed to come and talk about what it is like to be a person served at Bamsi. But there's so much more that we have to talk about. But we'll get to that in a minute. But we also have Jason Fernandes here. Hi, Jason.
Hello.
And
How you doing?
Jason is is a colleague of mine at Bamsi who works directly with Easton. And what I'd like to talk about today is I want to dispel some of the myths about disabilities to begin with. I also want to talk a little bit about what the stories are of some of the very special people that we work with. And Easton, you're representing all of those people today.
Yes.
What I want to do is have people hear about what contribution you make to your house, but also to the community that we have. And later on this evening, we'll see each other when we have the Person Served Advisory Board, which is, I have to say, my favorite moment of the month.
Yes, every Thursday is a good month for us.
It really is. And I love Olive Garden. And so hopefully it'll be Olive Garden tonight. So welcome to both of you. First of all, thank you for giving up some time to come and chat with us.
That's all right.
We had a bit of a pre-meeting yesterday, so we know what we're going to be talking about. But let's get to the most important bit. Easton, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, because your story is a remarkable one. It's a story of personal growth. It's a story of overcoming an awful lot, but it's also a story of you being able to tap into the help of many of the people who've come into your life. And that's what I love about this story. I love the way you tell it. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to tell us all about Easton Saunders.
Hi, my name is Easton Saunders, and my story starts in the nursing home. And the first thing I wanted to do is find a Bible study that would help me keep myself stronger and healthier. And the people that came in were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
And
this was in the nursing home, right?
In the nursing home. So the more I studied the Bible, I was getting stronger, and I was finding more things to do. And when I got out of the nursing home, I even helped people, at my programs, that I was going to, the Enrichment Center back then. And I was a volunteer there too.
So a couple of things that are really important. You had some medical difficulties.
Yes, I did.
And I know because you and I are about the same age, right? I think we share the same year of birth.
Yes.
I'm going to be a little blunt here, Stephen, but a lot of people didn't give you much of a shot, right?
No, because they thought I was gonna die, and I food hospice, and
just so people are fooled hospice. I love that expression. That is wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you did, right?
I did, and even when I was in the nursing home, I was motivating other people that were in wheelchairs, and I says, "Do you want to be helped all your life to be washed, changed, and it's good to get back up on your legs and be independent."
Right. So let's recap again. Faith is a huge part of your life,
yes,
right?
Faith is.
Really important piece here, because traditionally when people with developmental disabilities, we have not given people the opportunity to reach their maximum potential. So the things they care about, relationships
yes.
With people, physical relationships with people, the ability to pray, the ability to be with people who have the same faith. Those are things that everybody should have access to.
Yes.
Point number 2, Stephen, your recovery, your growth is completely built around helping others. And that's
yes.
what I'm absolutely inspired by. Let's take a couple of minutes to talk about what you do, because this man is a busy man. And I did hear this morning, by the way, that he got 12,000 steps in yesterday, which I'm very jealous about, because today I've got 3,000, which is barely moving. But Stephen, tell us a little bit, what does your day look like in terms of the committees that you're on and who you're helping?
Well, my day in the morning is like getting up, getting dressed in the morning, and doing things for myself instead of having staff helping me. Mm-hmm. And some mornings I go to my senior center, and I learned one of my meds so I can take on my own, so that staff doesn't have to come and give it to me.
Right. Yeah.
So that was one medication that I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn all my meds, but then the nurse says, "Well, you're going to have your own med box in your room. You're going to have your key, the room locked up." And
yeah. So just sort of thinking about this, and actually there was something I forgot to mention, because when I was talking about faith, and Jason, we'll get to you in a minute, but Bamsi is very involved in terms of this sort of faith-based friendships, right? And
yes.
So Jason, do you want to talk about that, or would you rather that Stephen talk about that?
I mean, I could share a couple of things in with Stephen. Yeah, Stephen, go ahead and explain a little bit.
Oh, faith is, trying to help other people get their spirit up too, and get their faith.
So the program that we have, that Katie Driscoll runs, who's one of our wonderful staff here, is really based all about developing friendships and connections in the faith-based space, but also in the community, right? Developing friendships.
Yes.
Yeah, within the community as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
yeah. So like going to what Stephen has, he's going to COA meetings. There's even other programs that they actually have out there that we're doing, helping in the kitchen as well. So introducing Bamsi all around the community. They're able to see how strong we are, to able to see how we come together and how we're helping out others as well. And they look forward for that.
I mean, it is, just a bit of background for everybody. There was a lawsuit filed against Massachusetts many years ago, 30 years ago, which basically said that we're not doing enough for people with developmental disabilities. Exactly. So people know, I think, the Fernandes School, they know the Dever School, these places where people were essentially warehoused, I think. Stephen, would you say?
Yes. I remember going to, so this was back before I even came into Bamsi. I went to a workshop, and the driver that used to pick me up brought some people to Paul Dever's place for a workshop. And I used to go to the Brockton one. And I says, boy, this is like almost like where people live and all the time. It seemed funny to see.
It's awful. It was awful. And we deserve to have a lawsuit filed against us. And the result of that was that organizations like Bamsi would build homes in the community next door to other homes so that people could live a life that you'd reach your maximum potential. And Stephen, have you done that?
He's reached that.
And the idea is that people should have all of those experiences. And one thing I just want to talk about a little bit, and Jason, this says, I'd love you to come in on this, but when you talk about working in this field, there are so many benefits to this. And I know, Jason, you are such a good example of this, somebody who is committed and dedicated to this population, who almost, has a calling to this kind of work. And it is the developing of the relationships that is the most important thing. Tell me a little bit about Stephen and your relationship. And Stephen, maybe you can retort after that.
With Stephen, when I first started here, it was like we hitched off real quick. That friendship, sports, definitely having stuff in common, made it fun and easy. And also being able to do a lot of fun things, creating memories is what they're looking for.
And this idea of paying it forward, I love this story, and indulge me for a minute, but we've recently had some young people moved in from the Higashi school, and just tell me about that weekend and how that went.
Oh, it was awesome. It was a beautiful day. It was like it's meant to be. Mark and Maeve, they came along with us. We picked up Stephen, went off a ride over to the zoo, and kind of had a good time. Stephen, he was having a tough time keeping up, but they made it fun. It was great. Definitely seeing the animals and everything. They bonded together like if they knew each other for a very long time.
And this was
just a smile. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Another example of Stephen being able to pay it back. Right?
Exactly.
Stephen, you have sort of used your relationships and how you've been helped before, and being able to pay that to the next group of people.
To the next group of people that are coming into the Bamsi, and I like to, like I was telling Jason, I says, they have the brown bagging down in Brockton. The new people can come and learn what we're doing for the community.
Stephen, can I take a second to talk about that? Because you are a regular at Brown Bag. Just so everybody knows, every third Thursday at 7:00 in the morning, we meet at Teen Challenge in Brockton. And the Greater Boston Food Bank delivers about 17,000 pounds of food, and we unload it, and then we put it in brown paper bags, and then we deliver them to the tower blocks in and around Brockton. It is an amazing experience, and we have volunteers coming every week. We have big shout out to Enterprise Car Rental, big shout out to Starbucks and many other folks who come down. It is a wonderful experience where you know that you're doing something that is amazing. You also get lots of steps in, right?
Yes,
exactly. Tons of steps.
And it is always lovely to see you there. And I think, again, that's a little example of how, Stephen, you see the progress in your life through helping other people, right? That your advocacy and
yes,
and
I'm on the advocacy board. I'm like the co-chair person there.
Can I ask though, just so that people know, because these are terms that people wouldn't necessarily know, but you're not just local, you're statewide. You're right.
Yes,
you're
I'm
on
statewide too. So when I was on the Bamsi Human Rights Board, Nate Hoover was there,
Shout out to Nate Hoover.
and we were discussing something about person serve, how to keep things locked up. And, I was bringing up things to the board, and Nate was listening to me. And that's how I got voted on to the Wide State Board as co-chair.
Right. So what you're doing is you're advocating for individuals, for yourself,
Yes.
and for the individuals around you. This
Yes.
idea of locking things up is a really good one. We don't do that. We allow people to make their own mistakes. We
Yes.
allow people to learn from their experiences. We call it the dignity of risk. This idea of being able to fail in our daily lives, because we all learn from experiences of our failure more than we do of our
Yes.
success. So you're on the statewide advisory board. Talk to me a little bit about your speech that I had the pleasure of seeing at the Caring Force rally.
Yes, the Caring Force rally. I was on Facebook that year. Well, 1 year, and they had the hiring for Bamsi, and I just wanted to see what they were getting for money.
Mm-hmm.
And back, I says that's not enough for a person to live on. If they're gonna have to work 4 or 5 different jobs and still work at the group homes, I says that's not enough. Because when we were getting agency people and they were making more than what our staff was.
So the Caring Force rally, just so everyone knows, is everybody turns up in the same color T-shirts, which is really cool. Go down to the State House, and then we had a local one down in
Canton.
And it was wonderful. And Stephen got up and he spoke, and Artie spoke,
And so
as
did
well.
Damien, and there was a
Shout out to Damien.
Yeah, that's right.
and there was a mother there speaking for her son.
Yeah. And that is what the advocacy piece is about this. It is speaking to the world, really,
Yes.
around maybe some of the inequities that exist in our society. And, we live in a wonderful state where, there are funds available for us to do things like this, to build houses, to allow people to have those experiences. If we are a democracy, if we're a place that cares about everybody should be included in that, right? And Stephen, you
Yes.
really are the living definition of that, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. I'd like to finish, because I know I told you this time it'd go quickly, but I'd love to finish talking about the relationship between the two of you. We touched on it a little bit. What do you get from having a friendship and a working relationship with Stephen? Jason?
Building a stronger character. That peace of mind to just seeing it from a different perspective, that he kind of just be like, Jay, you kind of helped me out. You made my day.
Right.
Right. It's just a good feeling.
Yeah.
I get the goosebumps right now just by talking about it. It's just a good feeling. You can't get nothing's worth more than that.
Yeah. And how long have you known Steve?
I've known Steven since February of this year.
Right.
Let's say.
Okay.
So we've been like peanut butter and jelly, I would say.
Yes. He even brought me to some of my hospital appointments.
Exactly.
We went to the hub.
Yep, Celtics. Yep, down to the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
So the first time ever going there, both of us. It was a good
Did
experience.
they win something this year or something?
Yeah, the championship, I think it was.
We
right?
wanted to see the trophy, but they had like 3 different things going on that week.
Yeah, 3 different concerts was going on that day.
I do
so
remember. I didn't go, but
the stadium was up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Jason, when you think about when you came into this work, was this what you hoped it would be like in terms of building relationships with people?
I've heard of Bamsi, and I never expected it being this type of way. Definitely get your feet in. It's a whole different of what people talk about. Usually you'll hear a lot of like negative stuff that they talk about. Oh, they're overworking you. They're doing all this. When not necessarily, it's really not. It's just those that's looking for another option out because it might not be for them.
Right.
But if you're the person that you're looking forward of helping out others, seeing the smile on their faces, knowing that you did something good, getting that good feeling in your heart, this is a place to be at. This is a place that you see that it goes all around 24/7, 365 in the year, so it's definitely good.
And it's true that we need to keep advocating. Just going back to what Stephen was talking about, people are not paid enough. The rates are not enough.
Yeah.
I will say, Stephen, your advocacy and other people's allowed us to get a substantial raise in the rates that we've been paid this year. So we'll be able
That's
to
good.
change that. Yeah.
We need it.
You did it.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah.
The staff needs it,
Yeah. And just as we finish, Stephen, just talk a little bit about how important it is to develop long-term relationships with the people that you work with.
We have, I've known a lot of staff at my house. I still keep in contact with staff that I've knew when I first moved in. Even my old house manager, Julie, we still keep in contact. Donna, other people I've known, I keep in contact with too.
Yeah. It really is all about the relationships that you make. And those relationships last a lifetime,
Yes,
right?
They do, yeah.
Like Jason, so Jason wants to do a, go to a Patriots game this year and do a tailgate party. Bring the Blackstone with us. And
All right, that's lovely. Well, I wish you good luck because the Patriots are going to be no good this year, right? I'm just kidding. Actually, we better finish because we're going over, but we shouldn't finish on that note. I just wanted to finish by saying, Stephen, I really appreciate you. I'm in awe of you.
Yes.
And I love spending time with you. Jason, you too. Amazing job. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about what the relationship is like and what the future is like for this work, because it's very bright because of people like you. So thank you, Stephen and Jason.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you
It's
so
a, it's a
much.
pleasure and it's an honor.
Yeah.
And definitely come to Bamsi. It's definitely a place to be at. This is where family is, So
Wow, what a wonderful way to end.
This is a way to go.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.